Hey folks, it's David back again with another video. Welcome back to First by Shape. And here I am, about 24 miles shy of my delivery. Tomorrow I'm at a pilot truck stop. I didn't even look at what this town is. I only know I'm close enough to Findlay, Ohio in the morning to where I can just get up at 7 a.m. do my pre-trip, and God willing, make my delivery on time. Wanted to make a quick video for the night. What is today? Is it the 7th? Must be the 8th now, because it was the 7th when I picked up this load yesterday. I forget what day it is. But it's the 8th of April, and oh, how the time is just flying. It's just flying. Just wanted to make a quick video, just to do something before it gets too dark to have any lighting in here. Stressed out by the war, and I didn't even get bombed. I think that's what I'm gonna title this video. So there's a ceasefire on now, or is there, with the war, and it's amazing. I just said a moment ago how fast it seems like time is flying. When the lady in the shipping office in Avonic, Theodore, Alabama, yesterday when I picked up this load, I said, "What day is it?" I'm filling out my signature. I'm about to put the date. I know she's gonna tell me what the date is by the time I get there. I'm just what is today's date? She says, "Oh, it's the 7th," and I'm about 4/7/26, and I'm like, "Wow, 7 days into this month already. The time is flying." And she's like, "Yeah, it is. It really is." So I guess she's in the same time is flying perception. I remember when I was a kid, particularly in the summertime, I don't know why, just particularly in the summertime, it seemed like time just drug on. Maybe it's being a kid and being bored or something, I don't know, but it just seems like when I was a kid, and then some of my teenage years too, it seemed like time just drug on. I can't explain why. Maybe you can. Maybe you've got some thoughts about that you can put in the comment section. But yeah, since the war got kicked off, when President Trump decided to kill, yes, he just decided to kill some people, kill the leadership of Iran, and got this war kicked off. I've been following the news from people on YouTube, alternative sources, not mainstream corporate sources, that it seems like time has just flown, and I've been anxious about it and ticked off by the whole affair. I wish it weren't happening. I wish it had never happened. I wish we had. I wish. Yeah, this is an I wish video. This video is all about what I wish for. Santa, can you make my... No, I don't believe in Santa. I pray to God, though, that cooler heads will prevail, that we'll have sane leadership that understands they're to be bound by the Constitution, by the law, and not do things in the way that they've been doing it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this war if people followed the law. But it seems there are some people who are above the law. Anyways, yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about, how it seems like time is just flying, and I've been listening to so many YouTube videos, so many interviews. I must have listened to maybe hundreds, at least dozens by now, and all these days from multiple sources, multiple people. Andrew Napolitano and all the people he interviews on his channel, Judging Freedom. Why are these lights blinking? These lights are blinking. They're coming on, and then they're going off again. What's that about? Are they, if they were time set, they would just come on. Are they light set? They don't know if they can't detect if it's light out or dark out. Kind of like the people running this war. They don't know if it's time to bug out and go home, or keep dropping bombs on the same targets you already bombed. Okay, they decided to stay on. That was interesting. They were flickering. on and off for a while there. Anyways, where was I? I don't know. Let me just vent for a few minutes about where I am and something else that's been stressing me out. Yesterday, my mom called me up saying that my dad he doesn't live with us. He lives in a long-term care facility, a nursing home type situation. And I hate it that that's the case. But my mother and father lived in such a way many years ago that they were apart after a while. And then as he's a little bit older than she is, as he's fallen down in his health and especially his mind, enfeebled, more and more enfeebled with a little bit of dementia, he's been taken care of by the state. We visit him as often as I can. But she called me up saying he had fallen, that the nursing home folks had sent him to the actual hospital there in Hattiesburg. Wesley, was it? Wesley Medical, something like that. That he had, that he was just kind of out of it, his speech. And now today, the next day, he's back. He's back in his room, where he lives. And I thank God for that, and I'll be praising God in prayer later for that, because that's what I need to hear, that he's all right, that he's back in his room. Every time this happens, it's like mini strokes or something. His speech gets a little bit worse, but then he gets it back, but it's not quite as intelligible as it was before. And you have to have talked with him for years, like I have, to really know what he's saying, unless you live with him and take care of him. Then, like the nursing folks do, they take care of him and know what he's talking about. You wouldn't understand what in the world he's saying. He's 76 years old. He had scraped his hand, got a little cut or something from when he fell. He had fallen a couple times, and it's like he was just a little bit out of his mind with not. I'm describing what they said to Mom, and then she said to me. And I was in a bad headspace yesterday, depressed and sad. I don't want to lose my dad. I don't want to lose him, even though our lives are not what I would have ever wanted them to be. I would have liked for us to all be together as a family my whole life. That's not what happened. Anyway, let me not dwell on that too much in this video. You know what? Let me spend the last 2 minutes of this complaining about truck driving. That's what I'll do for this update, this April 7th update from the road. I have, as a truck driver, these rules about hours of service. They are Department of Transportation mandated, and I have to keep at least 8 days of what's called driver logs. I don't have to fill these out. These days it's all electronic log, ELD software. But mine went out. The tablet, for whatever reason, I usually use my phone because it's faster, but I was in a rental truck last week for a couple of days because this truck went kaput. The air was literally not collecting anymore. So I had a bad leak that I couldn't find, nor could the repairman who came out to help me. Ended up being towed in Jackson, Mississippi, where I was stuck on the interstate, right with there must have been 10,000 cars came by me in that couple hours. Maybe not 10,000. Maybe 3,000. I don't know. It was nonstop. Got towed by a semi. Had to get towed by a semi tow truck. I've seen them. I'm like, dude, how do you do that? But once I got inside of it, I realized, you know what? It's all moving just as, like, you got your 3 brakes where your tractor is, your trailer, and the bend. Maybe it's not as difficult as I thought it would be to drive a semi tow truck that is a great big semi tow truck that is towing a semi truck that still has its semi trailer attached to it. How long would that be? I'm imagining it now. It's like, man, it was crazy. I was in his cab, obviously. The tow truck driver man spent a night at his drop yard. Had to be in a rental, a Penske rental, Volvo, very smooth ride, but still aggravating because I was not in this truck. Finally got back in this thing, and I kept using that tablet when I should have went back to my phone for logging my hours. And I went through this whole ordeal of freaking out, realizing that it wasn't recording the data, all my movements for 2 days. I spent 2.5 hours in a truck stop doing driver logs, stressing out, okay, where was I? Because it didn't record anything. It recorded that I went on duty Thursday morning. It was on duty all day. No, I had gone to Locksville, Alabama, and back to Mobile, Alabama. Then I'd gone to Shorter, Alabama, and then on to Duncan, South Carolina that one day. And it wasn't recorded. I was logging it all and even certified the logs. But then Saturday morning, it was like I hadn't done any of that. 2 days lost, and I don't know what went wrong with that tablet, and neither does my safety manager. But I was stressing out. I spent 4 hours Monday night filling out 3 days. I was going to cover all my bases Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and present paper logs as well as what I'd already gone in and edited in the electronic form. But I remember him saying, I don't ever want you to edit this. That's when I hired in 3 years ago. I'm like, am I going to get fired? I was so stressed out. And my safety manager has been so good to me. He's been more than fair with little things that have happened. Like me getting fined for my left lane violation. Me getting fined because my weight was off. Not overweight, but overweight on the tandems. Under 80,000 pounds, but still. And I'm like, I cannot. I went in there yesterday morning with all that stuff and just calmly explained everything. Maybe he was just having a good morning, I don't know. But it was the best meeting that I'd ever had with him. He saw how I was trying to get all my bases covered and was just out of sorts by the fact that we had a malfunction in the software, basically. It was the best meeting I ever had with him. It was so cordial, and I said, well, sir, you enjoy this beautiful day. He said, you too, David. Drive safe. It was all taken care of. And then last night, after Mom calls me, and I'm thinking about my dad now. I'm thinking about the war that I'm not fighting in personally, but somebody is in my name, and they're facing danger, people in the military. And I'm like, I'm just out of sorts about all this stuff. And last night, I had bought a reserved parking space. Just got to make it out of Nashville. I would have made it on time if all of a sudden, at 9:30 last night in Nashville, I-65 North, the traffic just stops. It just stops. And I'm like, what's going on? Come on, please. I'm running out of time on my hours. 20 minutes of sitting there, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it to my truck stop, my parking space that I purchased that's legal for me to shut down for the night before I'm in violation of my hours of service. I was just thinking to myself, such a good meeting with Mr. Bradley this morning. And now in the morning, I'm going to have to call him and tell him, I violated my hours again last night, sir. Nashville just shut down while we were all driving last night. I don't know if it was a wreck or road construction or what. They just stopped. But I said, you know what? I can't do that. I just can't do it. I got on Google Maps, Google Earth, and I said, I don't care what I got to do. I got 18 minutes left before I'm completely out of time, and it's basically against federal law for me to drive the truck beyond that 18-minute point. Like, I'm going to dive into someplace around here. I was looking at distribution centers and stuff that was nearby. I don't do this stuff. I've never done it because you're not supposed to do it. Like, I'm going to use their parking lot. Hopefully nothing's going on. Everybody shut down. If it's a back alley, just enough to be off the road so that I can sit still for 10 hours, because that's what you got to do, 10 hours. And I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm looking. I settled on something. I'm like, how am I going to get out of here? Because the exit for me to get off the interstate and get to this place was still up. I'm like, come on, can't we move at least that much? 5 minutes later, I managed to get on that ramp, got to the place, and with 4 minutes left, I backed into this place It was called Bitter Brothers Candy Shop. Yeah, that's what it was in Nashville. It looks like they make their product and ship it out, and I guess little delivery van doors. That's as big as that place was. I said, you know what? I'm doing this. I can't move anymore. I'm going to break the law. Literally, I'm out of my hours of service. And I didn't rest very good last night. I'm going to sleep great tonight being in a truck stop. But last night, I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to just park anywhere. You can't park just on the side of the road. But here I am in this alley where the distribution center. Man, this place is busy. Or else maybe they just park their trucks at the dock and there's nobody in there right now so that they can load them and then go in the morning. I don't know, but I was just hoping the place would be deserted after hours, or what I thought were after hours. No, it was a 24/7 place. But the Bitter Brothers place right across the street, it was shut down. I looked on Google and realized, okay, they all get back at 8 o'clock. So yeah, I said all that to say this. At 7:30, I'm like, I gotta get up and maybe slowly move this truck no faster than 5 miles per hour into the other lot, if it's okay, if I won't be in the way. Because if you drive this truck over 5 miles an hour, it triggers the GPS. You automatically go on the drive line, and you're automatically in violation of your hours of service. And sure enough, I'm like, if somebody tells me to move, I'm going to move, because that's what you got to do. But if not, I just want to try and squeeze this brake out, get through this so I can just get going, get moving again. Sure enough, at around, no, it was around 7. I forget what time it was, because I couldn't go on my pre-trip until like 7:50 something. So yeah, it was like a little before 7. I'm back there, and all of a sudden, somebody was knocking on the door. I'm putting my shirt on. They knock it again. I come out. This guy is looking up at me and said, "Sir, this is private parking. Got to ask you to move." I'm like, "Yes, sir. I'll get out of here." There's parking right down the road on the right. And when I looked at what he was talking about, that's a 7-Eleven. And you know the 7 or 8 whopping parking spaces they have for trucks are packed. And yeah, that wasn't going to be happening. And especially then, because I couldn't drive. I couldn't get back on up the public road and go with traffic and less than 5 miles per hour at the same time. So I sat. I slowly got to the left lot. When he told me to leave, I left, because that's what you got to do. I sat there for 45 minutes before I could finally go on pre-trip, my 10-hour break being completed, and get on my way. So, yeah, I've talked for 18 minutes about a whole lot of nothing. But hey, it helped me pass 18 minutes in this truck stop. So, yeah, if you're not a truck driver, you learned a little bit about what it's like as a truck driver from me, talking about some more wonderful hours of service, bad experiences. And I told myself last night, I'm never doing this again. I had promised Mr. Bradley, and I basically broke that promise last night from the last time when I went over my hours by like 47 seconds, because I literally couldn't get into the yard in that time, because I had guesstimated how long it would take. I told him on the phone a few weeks back, I said, "Sir, I promise I won't drive over 10 hours anymore. And the max you can drive is 11 for your hours of service. Total drive time per day, 11 hours. And he said, you just be safe out there." He's so even-tempered and good like that. Maybe I stress myself out too much. I don't know. All I know is I drive too much. And I really need a change in life. And on that note, let me say, if you're getting stressed out about things, folks, if you're stressed out about the news, which isn't good, none of it appears to be really good, as in God approved. Just keep your head up. Keep your head up, and just keep going. And that's all I got for now. Thank you, folks. For anybody who might watch this all the way through, what is wrong with you? No, seriously. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Take care.